Welcome back to Dog Health News. I'm Roberta Chadis, and today another special show with a great guest and a great dog. We have Justice with us today, and I want to welcome everyone to meet Paul Konofich. Nice to have you on the show, Paul. So, and Justice, how are you doing today, honey? Justice is a boxer, in case no one recognizes this beautiful breed. And how old is Justice?
He'll be 11 in April, so he's a little over 10 and a half years old.
Okay, so he's a mature boxer,
yes.
And he's pretty strong.
Oh yeah, very strong.
But he does have a definite story to tell, and I would love for you to just tell us a little bit about you. I know you are in the life sciences business. I'd like to hear a little bit about that, and a little story about how you found Justice from the day he came into your life, or your wife's life.
Yeah. So I'm a life sciences professional in the biotech industry, so I've had many years working in the biotech industry, specifically research and development chemistry. I've worked for big companies, small companies, non-profits, and that sort of thing, so I really enjoyed doing the chemistry. Justice was my wife's dog, so she had him before we got married, and she got him from the Middlesex Boxer Club. Mm-hmm. So they have breeders in the club, and he comes from a line of show dogs. His father was a champion show dog. I'm not sure about his mother, but she was also a show dog. And you can see, you look at his musculature and the way he comports himself, you can see that he's a show dog and likes to show.
Mm. And the temperament of a boxer, what do you love the most?
They're very hyper dogs, so a lot of energy, a lot of fun. He's a bit of a joker, so he likes to run around, and he used to steal shoes and socks and stuff like that. So it's a high energy dog breed. It's good for, I suppose, people with high energy lifestyles.
Yeah.
They love kids, so but probably the small ones you have to be careful with because they tend to be running around, so they could knock them over. So I would suggest if you wanted a boxer, have one, and you have kids, mm-hmm. to have older kids. So probably 7, 8, 9 and older is probably better, mm-hmm. because they have a tendency to knock things over. Because
he's a strong dog.
Yes,
definitely. And I'm sure as a little dog, as a puppy, he must have been just all over the place.
Oh yeah, yes. Even still now, he still has some of that puppy temperament. He was really bouncing around up until probably 7 or 8 years old. So you would still think he was a puppy at that age because he just has so much energy. He loves to run around and do stuff. So I think they never kind of grow out that puppy face.
So at the age of 7 or 8, you noticed that something wasn't quite right.
Yeah, so it was about 2 years ago today, around about Thanksgiving in 2014, started to notice he was squatting a little bit lower. Mm-hmm. And he loved to run in our basement, so he'd do rings in the basement. And my wife had started to notice that he was fishtailing. He would lose his back end, slide around a little bit.
Yeah.
And so we started to notice something was wrong. And then a few months later, we had to take him in for some surgery at Angel Memorial. And then they noticed something wasn't quite right. And we took him to his vet as well. Mm-hmm. And they noticed that he was starting to, I'm trying to remember the name, he's losing proprioception. So typically when a dog walks, it picks his foot up, lifts its paw, and then when it brings it down, it picks his foot up, curls its paw up, and then when it brings his foot down, it should extend the paw and go down again. Mm-hmm. He wasn't doing that. So,
oh my.
So he was picking his foot up like this and bringing it straight down.
Okay.
And then they kind of thought maybe he had this disease, which is called Degenerative Myelopathy. Mm-hmm. And it's akin to ALS in humans. And then shortly after they said that, we had him tested. So there was a genetic test for it. They took a little bit of blood and they sent it out. And then they found out that he actually did have degenerative myelopathy.
And does that is that a neurological
Yes.
type of a disease? So the brain is controlling
It's
how how the legs and the body is performing.
So it's the brain and the spinal cord. So it typically starts at the back tail end and then progresses forward. And then it's some degeneration of the nerves in the spinal cord. And then over time you'll see that the proception gets worse, and then they start to lose control of their balance. So we've found that Justice was having trouble on smooth surfaces like tiles and hardwood floors. So that's what happens, and then it gradually progresses forward up the spine, and then they start to have problems in the front legs and breathing. So it's a progressive disease.
And I'd like to recognize the Angel Memorial Hospital. They are amazing.
No, it's definitely.
We are very lucky here in Boston to have a group of veterinarians and dog health professionals they're exceptional. I know they are.
That's a good thing about living in this area. Not only do we have good people hospitals, we have one of the best animal hospitals, and actually it's the first one in the country. So an Angel
really
Memorial,
great. Yeah. And we know that Justice is here sitting very comfortably, but in order to get him around, you needed a device.
Yes. So
and where did you go to get that?
We went to a place called Eddie's Wheels, which is in the western part of the state, Sherborne Falls. But I think there are other companies out there too. But we were recommended Eddie's Wheels, and so we took him out. This is about 14, 15 months ago. We took him out to western part of the state. We had a nice drive, and at that point he wasn't full-time in the chair. He didn't really need it. We got it because we were told that from the point of diagnosis that typically they last 6 to 8 months, and then they're going to be in a wheelchair, and then they don't really last much longer. But we've had Justice a lot longer than that.
Yes, you have.
So we've been very lucky. And he loves his wheelchair, so it enables him to get around and do things. So he took to it quite easily. And
I had the nice experience of spending some time with you outdoors with Justice, and saw he's just all over the place. He was running and just really having a great time and a great life. So I think it would be interesting for our audience to understand what a day in the life of you and your wife and Justice might be like.
Yeah,
and then we'll talk about some other issues surrounding.
So I mean, it's a progressive disease. So at the initial early stages, it was relatively easy to take care of him. We have, they'll show pictures. He's wearing a special harness, which is called a Help Him Up harness. So those were a godsend for me, because trying to lift a 65-pound dog all the time can be a bit straining on the back. So initially, we just basically had to lift him a little bit to help him up and down, and just support him, because he was able to do most of the stuff himself. So we'd get him up in the morning, just help him up a little bit. He'd get fed. We'd take him out for walks, do his business, and then he was able to move around the house without too much problems. And as the disease progressed, he started to lose most of the strength in his back legs. So then, it was more a case of lifting him more. And then we started to take him to PT. So a couple of times a week, we would take him to physical therapy, just to keep his joints, in good shape, his muscles relaxed, massaged, and also to get that range of motion.
And that is Good Dog Aquatic, right?
That's one of them.
One of them?
The PT we started off with is actually Mass Veterinary Referral Hospital. So they did special massages and passive range of motion. He would do a ladder for balance, and like he was on a special ball. So then he would do water therapy.
The water therapy is fabulous. I know.
It's very good.
Yes.
And as times progressed, he started to have more problems. So I'd have to lift him more. And then probably about 6 months ago, he was pretty much full-time in the wheelchair. So whenever he wasn't on his bed or one of his little cushions, if we had to take him out, we would put him in the wheelchair, and then he'd run around and do stuff. And as the disease has progressed, he started to have some problems with urinary incontinence and fecal incontinence. So we have to use diapers and special pads. So typically they're called puppy pads. You put them down, but it's a minor inconvenience. It doesn't take a lot of effort. So he does fine. Loves life. Loves getting out. Loves to meet people. He's such a happy boy.
Well, he is so calm and quiet right here in the studio. So do you think we should give him a treat?
Yes, I'd love to give him a treat.
What do you think?
Would you like a cookie?
It's so good.
Yeah. He always loves to have cookies. He'll do pretty much anything for a cookie.
He's got a very beautiful collar on with a lot of bling.
Oh, yeah. He loves to dress up.
He must attract a lot of attention when you're out walking.
Oh, yeah, big time, big time. A lot of people don't know he's a boxer. They're not used to, because he comes from show dog line, he has the special ears.
Yes, tell us about those ears.
Yeah, the show dogs have special cropped ears because he came from a line of show dogs. That was had his ears cropped. The idea was to show him, but he had some issues, and they have to be fully intact.
Yeah.
He has been neutered, so you can't show a neutered dog in a show dog competition.
Funny? Why is that?
I don't understand, because apparently they have to be, say, fully intact to be shown in the arena. But
interesting, interesting fact there.
Yeah, you can take them for agility and obedience. He's not the most obedient dog. He's a little tricky and he likes to get his way, so I'm not so sure we would have got him so good in the obedience training, but agility, yes. This dog runs and jumps, and he's was very, very agile.
Yeah, so. I love the fact that he's so big. When I thought of a boxer, I usually think of them as a smaller dog, but for some reason, I'm not so sure why. But I love his legs and his beautiful paws and
socks. Yeah.
Yeah, it just really is an elegant dog.
He's small for a male boxer. He's an American boxer, and they're a little bit smaller. Most people might have seen German boxers. They're the bigger breed. They can be over 100 pounds. American boxers typically in the 60 to 80 pound range. And
is that how much
he's about 65 pounds. His father was closer to 85. So looks like he's moving around, wants to see what's going on.
He's moving around.
Very inquisitive, likes to see what's going on, wants to be part of the action for sure.
Yeah. Do you think he's in pain in any way?
No.
No.
He's not in any pain. That's one of the first things we learned about the disease when we went to the Angel and we saw our vets and did a little research on the disease. It's not painful. So we know he's not in pain. That's one of our first concerns. Well, we don't want him to be in pain, because that's not fair to him. But as you can see, he's very happy. He feels no pain. Loves to get around, move around. We certainly wouldn't want him to be suffering. And as you can see, he doesn't suffer.
No, he doesn't suffer at all. And I'm curious about the medication, if there is any.
He's on several supplements. He's always had a bit of a sensitive GI tract, so he's had some issues with his stomach. So we put him on prescription diet. So he's on a prescription diet, Hill's prescription diet. Also to maintain his weight. In his state, being heavier doesn't help him. So keeping his weight constant and keeping it down is going to be a help for him, because he has to carry extra weight as his joints go and his muscles go in the back. So the less weight he has on him, the better it is for him. And I did a little bit of research, and from what I could see, the disease may have something to do with mutated enzyme, which has to do with inflammation, and increased inflammation make this disease worse. So I've been giving him N-acetylcysteine, which is a natural anti-inflammatory amino acid. You can get it from protein. It's in all proteins, but so we give him supplements 3 times a day. He's also on cranberry and pumpkin for the fiber, and also there's some anecdotal evidence that cranberry may help with urinary tract infections.
Yes.
So for him at this state now, because his back legs don't move around so much, that's becoming a problem. The urinary incontinence and the pooling of urine in the bladder. So we have to make sure that he gets out and he voids his bladder, and then we give him these special supplements to help that. We also tried something called a CZ loop, which is an electromagnetic loop that put on the back as opposed to over the areas of concern, trying to help with the inflammation. I don't know if it worked or not, but we gave it a good try, because at that point there really aren't any viable treatment options for this disease like ALS in humans. There's no cure. There really isn't much they can do. So we're willing to try everything and anything for our little pal.
I know. So acupuncture or...
We tried that for a while too. We went to an acupuncture in Bulger in North Andover, but he's a very active dog, and he didn't sit still very well. He was throwing the needles out. So we decided to concentrate on the water therapy, so the treadmill, aqua hydrotherapy, and also in the last 2-3 months we've been taking him to Good Dock Aquatics in North Andover, and that's a full pool.
Yes.
So he goes in the pool, and that gives him much more support over his whole body, and then they can massage his legs and do this back and forth with the legs to keep the range of motion, and then he doesn't have his full weight, so he can do the dog paddle. So he gets exercise and range of motion on the front legs without having the full weight on him.
Yeah, and can he actually move his back legs in the water at all?
Up until probably about 3-4 weeks ago, yes. For the first couple of minutes, he'll do the dog paddle back and forth a little bit with the back legs, but not for too long. Now he doesn't really have any motion. Yeah. We can get twitch motion if you do this, that sort of motion on his paws.
Like a reflex?
It's like a reflex, so he'll pull his legs. So he's got a little bit of a reflex motion there, so we try to stimulate that from time to time. But pretty much he's lost all his motion in his back legs.
And just because I'm curious for the expense of taking care of Justice. Yeah. Hi, sweetheart. Yeah. Do you think you'd like another treat? I should give him a treat.
He probably does. He'll do a lot of things for treats. Here we go, buddy. Have a treat. I'll give one to Roberta, too. She might want to give you one treat. Huh?
Yeah. There you go, honey.
There we go.
Yeah. So polite.
Yep. Jess, is there another one? Oh, yeah.
We don't want to overdo it. We can't put any weight on you. But I'm wondering the expenses overall to care for...
It can be a little bit...
A medical condition.
Yeah, the medical condition. It can be a little bit... The therapies, not too bad. We've been PT at the Mass Veterinary Referral Hospital, and that is about $50 a session, which is great. I mean, they go in there and it's about 45 minutes. He gets exercise and massage, and he gets in the pool. The pool therapy is a little bit more. It's about $80. So
yeah, anything covered under dog health insurance?
You can.
Or pet insurance? You
can, yeah. You can have it if you get a specific rider for the physical therapy. And we were a little bit unfortunate that we didn't think about it at the time. We did think about insurance, dog insurance, and I would highly recommend to everybody, do it. It's really helpful.
You've had some good experience.
We had very good experience at one particular company. They're called Trupanion, but there are other ones out there. So I would highly recommend to people to go and search it out, make sure you do it. And it's not that expensive. It costs us about $40 a month. And our initial thoughts were, we want to do it for the catastrophic incidents. If the dog gets out and gets hit by a car or something like that, or gets severely injured, we wanted to have that catastrophic coverage. And we did know that boxers are a breed that are prone to heart problems and also to cancer. So we thought we were going to get insurance just to take care of those particular things. And we hadn't heard of degenerative myelopathy at the time, so we didn't think. We'd heard about the rider for the PT, physical therapy, and we discussed it. And we thought, no, he really won't need that. But in hindsight, we should have done that, because even if he didn't have this disease, a lot of dogs can have trouble with tendons. They can, do their Achilles, their ACL, the
Yes,
cruciate
the
ligaments.
ACL seems to be quite common.
A lot of dogs blow out their ligaments, and then you can be looking at $2,000, $3,000, $4,000
Exactly.
for that, and then there's therapy afterwards, and then maybe some weeks or months of therapy. So yes, I would definitely recommend that to everybody.
And there are statistics that show that within the first 3 years of a dog's life, something will happen.
I didn't know that, but
Yes, indeed. So it's early, it's good to put your dog under dog health insurance early on.
we were lucky with him. He didn't really
Yeah.
have too many. He had some issues with infection, and he had all the regular treatments, for vet stuff, and a lot of that stuff. Not necessarily, the standard vet examinations not necessarily covered, but so he was pretty healthy up until probably, and he still is. It's just a disease. If you look at him, if you didn't see the wheels or the thing, and you saw the way he behaved, you wouldn't know he was sick. He certainly doesn't act it. He has the mindset, I'm not sick. As you can see, he's trying to crawl off now.
I know.
Find out what's going on.
It's probably a little on the. I've had it on the floor today. I need to get out, but
I think he's okay.
I love the fact that your affection and concern for Justice just took over any inconveniences at all.
Yeah,
and I think that's so important for people to understand.
He's part of the family. You become very attached to him. I wasn't a dog person. I never had pets growing up. And it's like I was surprised when I first met him. It's like, oh, he's going to get slobber all over me. Oh, he's jumping on me. And I was somewhat afraid of dogs. But, he's so weaseled his way into my heart. He's my little fur buddy, as I say, and love him very much, and gives me a lot of love and affection. And I used to remember when I'd come home from work before he had his disease. I'd walk up the steps, and there's like a little gap under the door, and he'd hear the garage door go off, and I'd come up and I'd see 4 little paws under the door. And I'd open the door, and he'd be wagging his tail, and he was so happy to see me. They give you that love, that unconditional love.
Absolutely.
It makes you feel so warm.
And I
it's
want to
great.
mention a little bit about your wife, how much she cares for Justice as well. Now, she and you have set up something in the house so that you can care for him.
Yeah, so we have him on his own he has his little cart, and he has a little station there, so he's on memory foam, and we've got all he has his own special toys, and he said he's got the wheelchair, the harness and stuff, so she stays at home, so she's been taking care of him more so than me, but so she spends a lot of time looking after him, and so she's the one who found him.
Yeah.
And so she loves him very much too. So.
That's so funny.
But she's had pets most of her life.
Now, Justice's favorite toy, you mentioned a little orange toy.
Yeah, he has a little orange frog is one of his favorites. I actually won it for him over here at Beverly, one of the homecoming fairs. So I was throwing, I think it's darts at a balloon, so his little orange froggy. And he also loves the one you gave him a couple of weeks ago. We met on the beach at Danes Beach and gave him a little Trouble in the Dog, so he likes that one very, very much. And another one we get out for when we're watching the game. So when the Patriots on, I've got a little football with a bell in there, so we put that in front of him, and so he'll knock that around and play a little bit with that. So he loves those toys.
That's great. Now, I always like to ask my guests if they have any suggestions or anything that you'd like to say to the audience about a situation like this, if you end up with a dog that has medical issues like this.
Do the research. A lot of people's first instinct may be to give up, and so I say don't do that. Don't give up too soon. Just it's important to have a positive attitude. The dogs can pick up on that too, and make sure they're happy and healthy. So he's very happy. We make sure we take him everywhere. We involve him. He loves to go in the car. We keep him involved. We walk him. He gets to meet people. We try to keep his mental attitude good, and he has a great attitude. He does not want to give up. So I would tell him, don't give up too soon, because there are a lot of things you can do. Just small things that can make a big difference. just, like I say, making sure you give them a lot of affection and keep them engaged, give them toys, puzzles, take them out, do stuff like that. With him, we heard that it was, a very tough disease, and we saw a neurologist at Angel, and he said, 6 to 8 months. And this dog has a tremendous will to live, and we didn't give up on him. And he wasn't even in the wheelchair within 6 months. It took well over a year before we had to put him in the chair. So I would say plenty of affection, plenty of engagement, try and do some research. There are resources out there. There are a lot of websites so you can find information, the PT stuff that can be done. A lot of things can be done. Yeah.
I wonder if I didn't ask you questions that I should have. Is something coming to mind that I didn't talk about?
No, I don't think so. No.
I think the beauty of what I hear is just maintaining a positive attitude, because basically an animal is going to pick up on that, and they're going to really feel that there's hope or there's no hope. That's their biggest sensitivities, is watching you and your wife and how you behave, that energy that surrounds the dog. In this particular instance, it's Justice, and how appropriately named.
Yes.
Justice. He's a strong dog. He looks very, very happy, and perhaps he doesn't quite understand what's going on with his body, but it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. I mean, he gets around it. He knows. I think the important thing is not to let them give up. I mean, if they become depressed and they feel that off you, they're not going to want to go on. I think it's the same with humans. If you give them a positive outlook, give them plenty of affection, and keep them engaged.
Definitely keep them engaged.
They're going to be. You can see, he's snoozing there now, but he's a happy boy.
I think he's listening to every word that you said.
So, we make sure we give him affection. They're at home, take him out. We let him know. You can see he starts whining.
I know. He's like, it's time. Can we get him to bark?
Maybe give him I don't know. We can try.
I don't know. Can you speak?
Speak?
Yeah.
Speak? No, I think he probably just wants the cookies. He will sometimes speak. He'll bark for you. Justice, speak. 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 Speak.
He's getting ready.
Woof, woof. Speak. 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 There we go.
There we go.
Okay.
Perfect.
Good
Perfect.
boy, huh?
Yeah. Well, Justice, I wish that my dog, Jesse, got to know you, because he would have loved you. I had a golden retriever, and I want to give you this book. This was the reason that I started Dog Health News, in order to really talk about issues like this. How to take care of your dog, how to make sure that you're doing the right things for your dog, and doing the research, as you said.
Research is important.
This is my gift for you.
Thank you. Yeah, nice.
You can read it aloud.
Nice puppy on there.
Yeah, you like that?
It's important. Don't give up too soon, I would say. There are resources out there. People can help you. It's not, this disease, it's progressive. It gets tougher as you go on. But, the important thing is it's not painful. And if you can keep them happy, if you give them a reason to fight, they will. If there's no reason, they won't, and then they'll just decline.
That's right.
So,
and challenges, a little bit of a challenge sometimes.
It is sometimes.
Yeah.
But, you would do that for your own. If you had children, you'd do the same thing for children.
Absolutely.
I suppose, you don't give up on them. And, they'll let you know if they're not happy.
Well, I'm very, very happy to have met this beautiful dog who loves to just rub up against me and kind of hover right around my knees. I like that too. And I hope to be able to see you often. We'll have to meet again.
Definitely.
And go out for a run. And Paul, seriously, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. And if I can, if my story can help people, encourage people to do things, inspire people, I hope it will help.
I think it will. I think it will.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So this is Roberta Chadis, and I'm here with Dog Health News. We'll be back again with another story soon. Song, Justice, okay? We'll sing a song together.
You ready? You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know just how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. Make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know just how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away.